I'm Lisa Stone. I'm one of 3 co-founders of BlogHer. I'm the CEO. I had the crazy idea for a conference, but I did not want to host it by myself back in 2005. I'm a trained writer, which means I'm great at cocktail party conversations and not necessarily super at anything else other than being a journalist. When I met Elisa, she had huge operations expertise. She used to run lines for telecommunications companies like Harmonic and Terrion. And then we met Jory, who had sales background. Add community management and content with operations expertise and sales, and you actually have something that looks a little bit like a company, which was what we decided to found. The key for me was looking through the previous startups that I'd worked for, WebTV, Women.com, a brief stint with Lewis Borders at Keep Media, and trying to figure out how to become one of those companies where the founders constantly make it better, as opposed to strangle it and kill it. And working with Elisa and Jory was a way I felt like we could be as smart as possible while continuing to improve and learn instead of at any point believe our own hype. When people ask me how to find a great co-founder, I look at Elisa and Jory and I think of our 7 years of working together, and 3 things come to mind. Number 1, you have to care passionately about what you do to the exclusion of all else. Elisa, Jory, and I have sacrificed sleep, relationships, our own writing in order to build this company. We all 3 work as hard as each other. The second thing that we needed to have was complete and total trust. From the beginning, when we split the first BlogHer conference the site on our credit cards, we trusted each other to help each other pay the cost of that. Then we went into business together. We had a bank account together. We had insurance together. Each and every time we've had to do anything financial, not only were Lisa and Jory able to talk about money, but they were utterly and completely trustworthy, which I loved. The third thing that's essential is that you have to fight fair. We do a great job of agreeing to disagree, disagreeing about the things that matter, and then making up when we think it's the best for the business. It's not personal, it's business. And that's one thing that I think women don't get enough credit for. Great women who build huge companies do a good job of agreeing to disagree and advocating for what they believe in. When the question of why to have 2 co-founders instead of 3 co-founders never even occurred to me. Elisa, Jory, and I came together because we each have skills that the other doesn't have. Jory had so much more and better sales experience than Elisa and I did. Elisa had huge operations experience. I had content and community experience. So there was a very natural fit where we complemented each other. Each one of us could take the lead, the expert lead in our area, and bring it back to the group, because the goal was to build the company as well and as quickly as we could and be first to market. But what I think is really interesting is all 3 of us grew up in families with 3 girls and 1 boy. And isn't that interesting? Because all 3 of us grew up in large families where we had to learn how to get along, where we had to learn how to fight and make up, where we had to learn how to get along really well with other women. And in fact, 3 of us are closer to our sisters and our mothers than many women I know. I mean, our families are everything to us. And so when we came together, I felt like all 3 of us already had the tools. It's really been interesting for me, since I was the only parent when we started working together, to see how much this dynamic affected our work together. That it was so easy to say, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. Okay, Jory's right. We're both wrong, if it were me and Elisa. And I took it home a lot, and I would talk to my kids about how important it was that they be able to fight fair, make up, and keep on trucking. And when people ask me, what's your secret? I've never met another team that has been together for 7 years. I think about the fact that we made a decision early on that united us forever on the same side. We made the decision that we would all 3 have exactly the same amount of stock from the beginning. And what that means is that every time we come together and have a fair discussion, agreeing and disagreeing about what's best for the business to try to come up with the right strategy, no one in any way, shape, or form wins more. There is no she who dies with the most toys wins. It's we're the 3 musketeers, we're locked together in this. We are going to go out and win or die trying together. And what's interesting is when you raise money as an entrepreneur, quite often people will suggest that the CEO, and I happen to be the CEO, get more stock. And I made the very specific decision that I wasn't going to accept that, and that the three of us were going to be a unit running this company, as we've done for 7 years, because that made it possible for us all to insist that we each work or outwork each other as much as possible. And that's essential when it comes to building a startup.